kucheza kwao kutuzwa. It's a Swahili proverb. In English it means, he who plays at home will be looked after. It's used mainly in sports. That's what I've heard it being used. When you're playing at home, you've got that advantage of being at home, being protected, and you're likely to do better. So you can use it in many different ways, but if you think of it in football terms, when you're playing home, you've got that home advantage.
What makes you feel isolated?
I think drastic change makes you feel isolated. For example, if I was to move school and I wouldn't know anybody, then I would feel isolated because I wouldn't have anyone to talk to or anything.
To isolate someone or somewhere is to cause a person or place to be or remain alone or apart from others. Isolation is like the dark. It looms over you like a cold wave, hoping to drag you under. So many run from isolation towards the warmth of the crowd. Our need for approval of the pack is little more than human instinct, and isolation is an iron curtain. The human brain clings to approval like nicotine, itching for more likes, or compliments, or affection. It's in our nature to drive ourselves half crazy for slivers of attention. Being isolated from our normal surroundings is like going cold turkey. We become numb to human interaction, and pins and needles spread across our chest like heartbreak. Nobody can breathe underwater, and it is our choice as to whether we sink or swim.
When do I feel isolated? I think when I go to a new country or country that don't speak English and I don't understand what people are talking about, you feel like the only foreigner. Yeah, so you kind of like feel isolated because you can't really join random conversations.
That makes sense.
Even in a kind of like a office environment where everybody's speaking a different language. I guess that's one. Second one, I think for me personally, when I lose like people who are close to me in Tanzania, because no one really here know them or understands. You feel like no one really understands because nobody really knows them as much as you do. So you kind of feel a little bit maybe isolated or can't be understood in a way. So yeah. Much. I would say probably those are the two main ones.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
When we can't find the surface and we are drifting further under, instead of thrashing about, we have to exhale and follow the last breath in our lungs towards the light. It is the only way we return to where we are meant to be. Like Samson, we must stay alone until we gain the inner strength to ward off our adversaries. What makes you feel isolated?
When I can't relate to people's problems or when they can't relate to my problems.
Isolation is a forest. It can be dark and scary and lonely, but there is timber and fruits and animals. Kwenye mini hakuna wajenzi. Where there are trees, there are no builders. We are too scared to learn about ourselves, to understand why we are as such. When we are all alone, there is nobody to protect us from ourselves. But to isolate can be a tool, to protect our energy, to nurture our needs, to tend to our wounds. We love the sweet lies that roll off from the tongues of others like honey, but to humble ourselves is to baptize ourselves in the rivers of truth, and to swim to an estuary of hope. Sometimes, passing through the narrow gate that nobody else passes through is our only real hope. What makes you feel isolated?
I think isolation for me is when I am on my own and without being able to reach people. So it can happen both in a physical sense, so for example, when I'm in an environment that is new and far away from the people that know me or that are close to me. However, it can also be sort of a mental location rather than physical, in terms of when people can't understand, or when I feel alone and unable to describe how I feel about certain things. I think those are the two aspects for me that sort of depict isolation.
Thank you. To reach for the sky is to wish to be alone. The sun melts our wings, plunging us back into the cold oceans. We make plans to scrape the heavens with our buildings and machines, and God laughs and brings us back down. To be great is to be different, and to be different is to be alone, lonely. We sacrifice the warmth and the comfort to go out into the world and create. We isolate ourselves from those we care about in hopes we can one day pay them back with material that isn't the time and space we have together. However you isolate, stay safe, and make sure those you love are safe too. Stay home, for he who dances at home will be rewarded.
So Baraka, tell me, what makes you feel isolated? What does that mean to you?
I guess I feel isolated when I think about what everyone else is doing. I think I overthink a lot, so if I've chosen a separate path to a lot of people, and then I look back on all the decisions that the group or the crowd has made, I think it's not always a bad thing, but sometimes it's well, that's where everyone else is going, why am I not going with them? And I think it makes me more aware of how a lot of the decisions that I make on a day-to-day aren't necessarily the easy decisions or the normal decisions. So I think that makes me think a lot about how different I am to a lot of people when I just think about what everyone else is doing compared to me. But yeah.